What comes in your mind when you hear about Malawi, the warm heart of Africa? Tourism? Yes. My name is Alina Femlamba. In this edition of MBC Exclusive, I'm joined by the Minister of Tourism, VERA Kamtukule. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been in the ministry for 2 years or so.
18 months.
Indeed. And you've done pretty well within these months. Notably, you've introduced the very first Malawi Tourism Expo. What was the exact idea behind this?
So I wouldn't say that it was me that introduced the expo. The expo was there, so the Malawi International Tourism Expo had been there for a long time, but we had suspended it because of the COVID-19. So you are aware that we couldn't gather, and that's why we had suspended it. So the first ever Malawi International Tourism Expo to have happened after the COVID-19 pandemic was in 2023. And it was, I think, 2 months after I had been appointed to this ministry. So that's why it was like, I'm the one that introduced it, but it was a program that was running every single year, I think from 2014, somewhere there. But we had suspended it because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and then now we're introducing it. That is why in 2023, the theme of that event was Ibatse Moto, we are back, to show the country and also to the world that we are now back with the Tourism International Expo.
And then I'm looking at the visibility that the country has seen. You said it started in 2014, but then its popularity came about in 2023. What changes we made?
I think for me, normally, I think personally, I have a problem with government programs just happening and then appealing to the people that are involved within the sector. So if you have an agriculture expo, symposium, it would be people that are in that space. Or if it's a tech thing, it would be Macra and the people that are in the tech space. People would not be involved. I think that was the first thing that I had noted, to say, when you're talking about Malawi International Tourism Expo, when you're talking about Malawi, you're talking about all of us, 20 million of us. And so we needed to find a way of how to bring everybody on board, creating a critical mass of people that are conscious of their own country, but also now raising those voices to amplify to the world about what Malawi has to offer as far as tourism is concerned. For us to be able to do that, it's not going to be the minister alone, or the PRO alone, or the Department of Marketing alone. It had to be everyone. So what we did in that year was to involve everyone. So we involved our celebrities. We have celebrities in this country. So you have Gwamba, Kelly Kay, you have all these artists, you know, that we had appealed to them. Why? Because these are people that would have millions of viewers on their pages. And so if you invite them, it means you are inviting 2 million people. 2 million people are going to see that message, because these people have a fan base. And also, I think for me, you are aware that the Malawi 2063 is youth-centric. So these artists, they are also appealing to young people as well. So we knew that if we do that, everyone is going to be involved. I think that was the only difference that was there. So we made it popular, but I think the long and short of it was we wanted everyone in this country engage in the Malawi International Tourism Expo. The second thing is that we wanted to showcase to the country in terms of what the International Tourism Expo actually does, not only as part of its contribution to the socio-economic development of the country, but also in terms of the supply chain, who is involved. So for example, I will tell you, we host like 60 hosted buyers from across the world coming into this country. Those people come here, they stay in hotels, they eat food, they buy presents for their people and whatever. They are eating food, they are buying airtime, they want internet and all of that. So from just one person, about 100 people are being affected because one person came to Malawi. So we wanted also to ensure that we are promoting and showcasing to the country the supply chain that tourism impacts within the economy. And for us to do that, we needed everyone involved.
So let's look at these stakeholders you've been engaging, celebrities among others. How did they respond to your call?
No, I think everyone really responded to our call. So we'd put in flyers and say we are inviting you, and then personalize it to say we are inviting you, Gwamba or Kelly Kay or any other artist for that matter, to this Malawi International Tourism Expo. Also, it was not just us using their platforms, it was also about them also coming to the expo to also expose themselves as far as what they do. You know, you are aware that corporates, they use artists, for example, also to endorse or to promote their products as well. So it was also part of also promoting their own agendas and what they do, their trade, as it were. But also, I think for me, for you to have a successful expo, it's not easy. You're talking about bringing together. In 2023, we had about 120 exhibitors. In 2024, we doubled that. We almost doubled that. I think we got to 280, somewhere there. So it's very huge for us to get to that level where you are seeing that expo the way it is at the Bingu International Conference Center. It's not easy. It takes a lot of tenacity on the part of the ministry, but also on the part of our partners and stakeholders. So you know that we work with tourism operators, these hosted buyers, everyone, the corporate companies. And we know that the government does give us a budget to enable us to run these campaigns, especially when bringing in the hosted buyers, because we have to buy the tickets in advance. You're aware that when you're buying tickets much later, then they become expensive. But also we needed sponsors, and last year, I mean, being the first time we are doing it after the COVID-19 pandemic, it was extremely difficult for us to raise funds, but we did. The corporates really responded very positively to our call. And so for me, and then everyone involved within the ministry, and then all our stakeholders, other operators saying we are going to host the hosted buyers in our facility for free. They would only just have to buy food, or they will give them free food, but you have to pay for accommodation and all of that. But just hand holding us to ensure that we are delivering a successful Malawi International Tourism Expo. Just to let you know that when we're talking about these hosted buyers, these are people that are wholesalers, they are retailers that package tourism packages and sell them. And so you cannot sell Malawi if you have not experienced it. So what we do, we deliberately bring them into the country, and then we expose them to the country. Because you cannot talk about Malawi if you have not been there, if you have not sampled our food, if you have not sampled our culture. So we bring you. So for example, if the meeting is running from 25th, like this year it ran from 25th to 27th. And we brought them earlier, so we'd bring them maybe on the 21st, so that they sample the country from the north all the way down to the south. So they attend the meeting, and then after that they also go out so that they experience the entire country. They're able to weigh to say, oh, okay, if you go to the north, this is what you're going to see. If you go to the south, this is what you're going to see. If you're going to the eastern part of the country, this is what you're going to see. Now, for us to do all of that, to arrange logistical arrangements for about 70 or 80 people, it is not small. And these are coming from across the world. It is not easy. So we need the intervention of every stakeholder that we can get. And so I want to thank everyone whose responsibility it was to ensure that we deliver a successful meeting, and they did so, and I want to thank them on behalf of the government of Malawi.
Let's talk about the post-COVID-19 recovery. How has Malawi benefited from the expo?
No, I'm very happy to say at the moment we have now reached, even surpassed the pre-COVID-19 numbers. Because I think pre-COVID-19 we must have been around 900,000, somewhere there, but now we are over 1 million in terms of international visitors. So we have already surpassed the pre-COVID-19 numbers, and we are targeting now 3 million visitors per year. Not just one, because 1 million is per year, but we are targeting about 3 million visitors per year. But I think for me, it's not about the numbers. It's about how much they are bringing into the country, into the economy, because you can have 5 million people coming and then the returns are really not very significant. So I'm talking about us now attracting big spenders, because they can be 20,000, but they would spend a lot of money within the economy. Those are the people that we are targeting. Now, for us to attract those big spenders into our country, that means we have to do a lot in terms of product development. So we can sell our country even in our sleep. I can sell Malawi anytime, anywhere, even in my sleep. But when those people come, when the entire world now flocks into Malawi, what are they coming to see? What are they experiencing? So for us to sell the Malawi experience, for us to sell the warm-hearted tourism package, we've got to work very hard to develop the products, and that's where the tour operators come in.
We recently saw a travel warning issued by the British government onto its citizens.
Yes.
How did you respond to this?
I thought that was unfortunate, because I do believe that Malawi is still the safest tourism destination ever. Apart from us being the warm heart of Africa, we're the friendliest country in the world, one of the friendliest countries in the world. And so if you look at the data from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, they will tell you that the rate of kidnapping per 100,000 people in the UK is at 7. And the rate of kidnappings per 100,000 people in Malawi is 0. Meaning that Malawi is very safe, you know. And we've seen a lot of countries that have violent attacks, kidnappings everywhere, and all of that. Malawi has never experienced something like that. So for me, I know that our law, I don't speak for the Ministry of Homeland Security, but I am aware that the Ministry of Homeland Security and as well as the Malawi Police Service are working very hard to get to the bottom of what had happened at that time. But I think for me, a single incident cannot wash down everything that we've been working for, cannot erase the fact that we still remain the safest destination, but also the warm heart of Africa.
What are your fears if this warning is not withdrawn?
Then it means it washes down everything that we have worked so hard for. But also, I don't think it can come to that level where it puts it disenfranchises us as far as tourism development is concerned in this country. The risk there maybe would be that other people, other players would look at that, take that, and use it as a tool for predatory marketing. Predatory marketing is when you position one destination against another and say you're better off coming to this country or to this destination and not to that country because of this. So that would be my fear. But I trust God that He would not allow something like that to wash down every effort that we are having in terms of developing our tourism in this country. You are aware that the President of the Republic of Malawi, His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Makathi Chakwera, has placed at the center of our structural transformation the issue of the ATM strategy. That's agriculture, tourism, and mining. And so you know that all our machinery, the entire government machinery is dedicated towards ensuring that we are developing the ATM strategy. So surely we have the political will for us to see that tourism thrives in this country, and so we cannot allow something like that to water down everything that we have been working so hard for.
In case you're just tuning in, this is MBC Exclusive with me, Alinafe Mlamba. We're discussing tourism today with the Minister of Tourism, VERA Kamtukule. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back. This is MBC Exclusive with me, Alinafe Mlamba. We're continuing our conversation with the Minister of Tourism, Honorable VERA Kamtukule. Is it a coincidence that this warning is coming at a time whereby there have been land wrangles, not just land wrangles, but encroachment, among other things, especially at Michiru Mountain?
I don't think I would place the two together. I think it would be wrong for me to place the two together, but I know that we have had some challenges at Michiru Nature Sanctuary.
So how are you working with stakeholders, especially the British government, among other things, among others, because we've also seen them taking key interest in ensuring that nature is reserved at Michiru?
I think it's not only them; it's everyone. It's everyone's concern about Michiru Nature Sanctuary. The state of the Michiru Nature Sanctuary at the moment is appalling. I need to say that it's the only place within Blantyre that is sinking carbon dioxide in that city, Michiru Nature. So that's how important it is, and I don't think people understand the importance of Michiru Nature Sanctuary, or why it is very important that we preserve it, conserve that area. And so it is a concern of everyone, not just the British, but everyone, well-meaning Malawian, would be concerned of the state of the Michiru Nature Sanctuary at the moment. Now, we had a lot of organized crime, a lot of loggers that were going into there, the poachers, and killing the animals, cutting down trees wantonly, and all of that. It was heartbreaking. I've been there twice, and the situation was really heartbreaking. And you know what used to happen in the past, our rangers would arrest people, and then within 2-3 days they're out of jail, and then they're coming back into the sanctuary to cut down more trees, And now we're working very closely with stakeholders, civil society organizations, and our development partners, and other stakeholders, especially the communities. They're calling themselves concerned Michiru residents that have a great concern towards the nature sanctuary. And collaboratively, we have managed to nip the problem in the bud. But I would tell you, it didn't come at no cost at all. Because the last time I went there, they had burnt down the houses, newly built houses for our rangers. And you can imagine, as a woman, I met a woman that said, Amai, our house was burnt while I was there with the kids. It broke my heart and I cried. Because I could imagine myself with my little children, and then people coming in with pangas and then burning our house while I'm inside with the children. I mean, come on. So these are people that have committed their lives to protecting the nature sanctuary, and now their lives are at stake, their families are at stake, And so,
from what you've said, is Michiru Sanctuary a war zone?
No, not exactly a war zone. Malawi is a safe place. Like I said, it's not a war zone, but we had a problem. We had a challenge there. And so we had to bring in soldiers. We brought in Malawi Police Service there. We brought in Malawi Defense Force services there, officials there to help us to provide security. But that was only a temporary measure.
Honorable Minister, recently the removal of visa requirements for citizens from 79 countries is quite a significant policy change.
Yes.
You, being the Minister of Tourism, can you just tell us what was the rationale behind this decision?
So I think one thing you didn't ask me was what is our area of focus as a ministry. So we have two key functions as a Ministry of Tourism. So number one, we do destination marketing. Number two, we do product development. So destination marketing is everything that you see us do, promoting Malawi as a destination, the warm heart of Africa, so that people should know about Malawi and they should come to Malawi to do their holidays, to do their meetings and all of that. That's what destination marketing is all about. Product development now is about what are they coming to see? Oh, come to Malawi, we have Lake Malawi that has over 1,000 species of fish, the largest number of fishes in the world, in any other water body in the world. That's product development. You come here to Malawi where we have Cape Maclear, a place that offers you the safest place to do snorkeling in the world. I don't know if people know about that. The safest place to do snorkeling in any water body in the world is found at Cape Maclear in Mangoji, in Lake Malawi. We have that, so that's product development. So when you come here, you do snorkeling, you come here, you do bird watching, you come here, you do all of these things that we do now. But that is good. And then the issue was coming in to say, now how do we get to Malawi? How do we get there, right? So we have a challenge with air connectivity, where it becomes a little bit difficult for people to come to access this beautiful destination of ours, the warm heart of Africa. And also, it was becoming a little bit expensive because of the connections that people have. So for example, from one destination, somebody will have to get maybe on 3 planes, for example. So it means getting from their country to another country, to another destination before they come into Malawi. Now, connecting like that becomes a little bit expensive. That ticket becomes expensive. So we needed to find means and ways of saying, we are in this situation at the moment now. For somebody that has come to Malawi, they have wanted to come to our country. It means we have convinced them to say, you need to come here. So the president said, let's make it a little bit easier for them to come to the country. Because at the time, people needed to apply for their visas online, and then they would find the system down. It would take them 3 weeks for them to apply. And then they would just say, Tanzania, it's just easy. I'll just go online, even on my phone, I get the visa, and then the ticket to Tanzania is even cheaper than Malawi, so I'll just go to Tanzania. So it was disenfranchising us. So the president, in his wisdom, he said, I am going to remove the visas from our key source markets, so 79 countries. And by the way, that was an additional 79 countries over and above what was already there, because we already had some countries that were coming into our country visa free.
You've mentioned about concessions. How are we managing as a country?
I think we have we are working in partnership with African Parks, but we have 2 partnerships that I would want to highlight for this interview. One with the one that we have with African Parks, but also the one that we have with Peace Parks Foundation. So the one with African Parks is very interesting because I think next year, 2025, we're going to hit 25 years of working together, and it required the belief of one man by the name of Mr. Sefu. God bless his soul. He believed, and he's the one that told the government of Malawi, recommended to the government of Malawi to say, let's go into partnership with this institution. And it is because of that, that's why African Parks is in other African countries. They're now in Zambia, Rwanda, and several other countries as well. But they started here in Malawi. It had to take one Malawian believing that this could work. And so because of that partnership that we've been having with African Parks, we have seen an increase in our the number of our wildlife. even the health, the management of the same. Like in Majete, it's very fascinating. I should take you there one of these days. You are able to track the animals by using an app. They have a system in place. And I remember a couple of months ago, the PS sent to me a document for my approval to provide contraceptives to lions, and I was like, is this even a thing? We are providing contraceptives to lions? I thought maybe we are going against nature or something like this, but it's because now our number of lions has gone very, very high in some of these protected areas, but we are able to know that because we are able to track even the number of animals, and we never used to do that. And so now we are touting to say we have the big five in Malawi. It's because of the partnership that we have had with African Parks. We're able now to tout about the community engagement, the community empowerment, and all of that because of the partnership that we have had with African Parks. So it has been working very, very closely, very, very successfully. And now it comes to an end in 2025, and I know that they've already put up an application for a renewal of that concession. But I can tell you that concession has been working very good. Can it be improved? Absolutely, yes. Nothing would be foolproof, but we are working now in terms of those areas that we need to improve on. We're working on them together with our counterparts from the Ministry of Justice, and so that we can improve on the things that have not been working well, so that as we go into the future, we can rectify those things together.
If we to look at the wins and gains that these concessions have given Malawi, how do you position yourself if we to look at other tourism destinations in the SADC region?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll put ourselves at 8. I think we've done really well. But I think I also needed to mention the fact that I mentioned about the other partnership that we have with Peace Parks Foundation for the Nyika Vwaza co-management. What the arrangement there is a little bit different. That one we are calling it a co-management agreement. So they are bringing in their personnel. We are bringing. Actually, I think in the partnership we are more as Malawi, and we created a trust that is headed by the chairperson is Justice Twer, retired. He's the one that is heading that co-management trust. So it is working very well. So the communities are there, the chiefs are there, everyone is there, and the Peace Parks Foundation is there. So it's not a concession. So I think this is now their second year into time. So we are also going to be reviewing how that is working and ensuring that communities are the ones that are benefiting from there, and also that we are eliminating the human-animal conflict that we usually have within these protected areas. But I think at the moment, what is happening at the moment within the concession that we have with African Parks, it has been working very well.
You look great, by the way. Do you normally dress like this?
Yes, sometimes I do. If I have functions that I have to preside over, I dress like this. Sometimes on a Friday, Friday, sometimes we dress in traditional attire, I dress like this. And sometimes I also put the blue tourism attire.
Is this a tourism stunt, marketing-wise?
Of course. So we use this material as one of the marketing tools that we have within the country. We have to be deliberate in terms of promoting our culture. Just 2 days ago, I put up a post on my Facebook page about the Chilundu. I don't know if you saw it. And I was saying, is this our traditional attire? And it attracted a lot of comments. People were saying, no, it is. Some were saying, no, it is not. And all of that. Some were saying, no, it is in the lower Shiri and whatever. But a lot of people were saying, actually 80%, were saying Chilundu should be our traditional attire, because in the past it used to be. In the Chimkosways, people used to dress in Chilundus and all of that. But we have tasked the Malawi University of Science and Technology, MUST, the Department of Culture. They're working on ensuring that we have, number one, a national cloth, and also a national design. So that, because when you go to Uganda, they have a national dress. If you go to Rwanda, they have a national dress. We don't. So when you ask to say, what exactly is our traditional attire or our traditional cloth? Because people have borrowed. People are dressing like Nigerians. People are dressing like other countries and then calling it traditional, but it's not traditional. Is it traditional because you went to the market to buy the material and then you have taken it to a local tailor? Is it traditional because you have taken it to a local tailor? What exactly is traditional? But also, we need to have a national cloth. Zimbabwe has it, Zambia has it. We need to develop our own.
When should we expect it?
I think we're working through that because that falls under the Department of Arts and Culture. It's under the Ministry of Local Government, but we are working very closely with them because culture, as you may be aware, is our product that we use for tourism development. So we're working very closely with them, but also with the Department of Culture at MUST University, so that we can together collaborate and produce these things.
How do you envision Malawi's tourism industry in the next 10 years?
In In the next 10 years, I think for us, we want to, at the moment we are at 1 million plus, but we want to, in the next 10 years, we'd want to hit about 3 to 5 million visitors per year, you know, and then a minimum of $1 billion contribution towards the economy, $1 billion. Because I think right now we are operating below minimum, so we want to raise those numbers to at least $1 billion, a minimum $1 billion United States dollars, because tourism is an export product, it's a trading service, and so we also want to ensure that everyone is looking at that. In 2019, the National Statistics Office, they said that we are contributing about 6.7% towards the GDP, but for ourselves we are saying we could be contributing more than that. Why? Because of the value chain. When somebody comes into Malawi, they are affecting a lot of people. So they are buying the ticket, they are hiring a vehicle, they are going into your room, they are buying food, they are buying curios, they are doing all of these things. A lot of people within the economy are being affected by just one person visiting us. And so for me, the 6.7% doesn't cut it. It must be more. But we're going to wait for the recent contribution. But so the people that get the data, they don't take into consideration the contribution within the value chain of tourism, and we would want to do that. So for the next 10 years, we would want a minimum of 3 to 5 million visitors per year.
Honorable Minister, it was nice having you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And that's what we had for you in this edition of MBC Exclusive. My guest today was the Minister of Tourism, Honorable VERA Kamtukule. My name is Alina Femlamba. Until next time, stay inspired.